Michael Brown here, journalist, author, Christian primarily. I tend to write about prophecy, have for 3 decades now. Just came out with a book called Future Events about precisely that. Most famous of my works was one called The Final Hour back, nearly 30 years ago. Now I got this new one, Future Events. And it has to do with those secrets of Fatima, Portugal. You know, the famous apparitions of the Virgin Mary, as well later on as Jesus, in which these three peasant children were given three primary secrets. They revealed the first two. The first had to do with the end of World War I and how there was going to be a second world war if mankind maintained its transgressions and didn't convert, didn't get rid of its sinfulness, and that second world war would be announced by a great sign that ended up occurring in 1938, and with the extraordinary display, unprecedented, of the aurora borealis that was seen from Europe and Africa to the United States and across the United States in parts that never see the northern lights. And then came Hitler into Austria, annexing it, really triggering this great Second World War. There were also other things said there. There was a vision of hell, and there was a prophecy, the prediction of the rise of atheism, communism in Russia, and how it would spread its errors around the world, which of course we all know happened. Then there was this third part of the secret, famous third secret of Fatima. And that was kept exactly that. It was kept hidden for many decades. There was only one seer left after the 1920s. That was Sister Lucia dos Santos. And in the 1940s, her bishop was demanding that she release the secret, tell him what it was, read it to him, let him know. But she wasn't given a go-ahead by Jesus and by Mary. She therefore was reluctant to, and in fact just declined to, and was putting it off and was agonizing over it, because to hear her bishops making a request and she's to be obedient. On the other hand, she's obedient to heaven primarily. She was on her knees on this hard floor praying and praying and praying day in and day out, week in and week out, even got sick with pleurisy over the whole matter, was sick in bed for weeks, until suddenly she got this infusion. And she got these words that explained to her what it was that was in the image she had been given. That image, back in 1917, that they were shown, had to do with an angel ready to torch the earth with a flaming spear because of its sin. But those flames were put out, were doused by a stronger luminosity or illumination coming from the Virgin Mary, basically saving the day. But everyone figured that had to do with nuclear war, because Russia was mentioned at Fatima and war and so forth. It turned out in 1944, when Sister Lucia was agonizing and got this further revelation, which she called an enlightenment, that it had to do with more than that. And that's what the book is about, future events. Because in 1944, what this nun was told was, the tip of that spear as a flame unlatches and touches the axis of the earth. It shudders. Mountains, cities, towns, and villages with their inhabitants are buried. The sea, the rivers, and the clouds emerge from their limits, overflowing and bringing with them in a whirlwind houses and people in numbers that are not possible to count. It is the purification of the world by sin as it plunges. Hatred and ambition cause the destructive war, exclamation point. And that was the explanation of heaven as to the image of that angel with the flaming spear or sword. So it didn't just have to do with a nuclear event. It didn't have to do just with war, though war was mentioned at the end there. But it seemed like geophysical events, mentioning the axis of the earth, mentioning mountains crumbling and oceans and rivers and so forth overflowing their bounds. Well, that's what future events is about. I take that elucidation, that enlightenment, and I compare it to some more recent alleged prophecies from various quarters in recent times. What is it that we might be facing? We haven't seen this yet. We haven't seen the mountains crumbling. We haven't seen the seas um, overflowing their limits and all those other things, a whirlwind of homes. Well, it's among a lot of scenarios that I outline in the book. Future events available at www.spiritdaily.com, or on Amazon. Bookstores can get it at Ingram. It's also available on Kindle. Hope you check it out. Hope you find it interesting. Hope you find it helpful as a roadmap to possibly the near future.